Now, let's bring in John Moody. He's Moody. No, John Lonski. I'm sorry, John, it's a big day.
It's Friday, come on.
It's also Friday, thank you very much indeed. Look, it sounds like there is momentum towards 50 yes votes in the Senate. Now, you're an outside observer. You're on Wall Street. You've got to be watching real closely. Am I right in saying that there is momentum towards a yes?
I think you're exactly right, and it could indeed be approved later today.
Now, what do you make of this idea that maybe the corporate tax rate starts out at a maximum 20%, but could then be stepped up in future years? I think that's a terrible idea.
Horrible. I mean, the idea was to simplify the tax code, and now we have this moving tax rate that rises over time. That's going to hurt corporate planning. And how do you convince companies to move or keep more of their operations and not go overseas to take advantage of a lower tax rate? It makes absolutely no sense.
So you wanted to get rid of it by the time it goes through a House committee?
Right, fix it. If it has to be 21%, fine. But don't have a 21% next year, 20, and so on.
OK, Scott Shellady is with us, and I think he's joining us from London. Is that correct? Yes, yeah. Oh, I see Big Ben in the background there. OK, now you're a very good observer of the scene. So even though you're looking over there to what's going on over here, are you reading it the same way from London, that yes, momentum is building towards a yes vote?
Yeah, you know what? As traders look at things, we look at trends, right? And trends are your friend. And so this one is absolutely trending in the right direction. So a lot of traders would say that looks as though something's going to happen to the positive here. And yeah, they're going to get something done, which would be great for everybody involved. And I agree that we can't be monkeying around with different levels. Businesses need to be able to plan, and whatever we agree to today should stay to what we agreed to today.
OK, now assuming the bill passes the Senate, then it goes on to the committee stage, House and Senate. John, can anything be fixed? I mean, like stepping up the corporate tax rate or monkeying around with something else. I mean, you can fix this in committee, can't you?
Well, you can, but I think the changes will not be all that great. Revisions will be relatively minor. That's what I would be looking for.
So once you got it through the Senate, you got a deal.
Home free, put it that way.
OK. You agree with that, Scott, that whatever needs fixing in the House-Senate conference could be fixed, but probably not much will need to be fixed? Yeah?
No, I think the Senate's the highest hurdle. So if that's cleared, then things should be looking good from there, yes.
All right, now let's check the big board. As of now, we've got a 33-point gain for the Dow Industrials. Let's proceed under the expectation that we get a yes vote in the Senate, that it's pretty much a done deal. Scott Shellady, if that occurs, do we get another leg up on the Dow Industrials stock prices from where we are already?
Well, we're going to get another leg up in the stock prices if a number of things continue to happen. I love to see what's going on with the GDP prints over 3%. That's great. Low unemployment, that's great. Low inflation, that's really a good big driver as well. And then you throw the cherry on top with the taxes. So, you know, I knew we were going to talk about 25,000 as soon as we went through 24,000, and that's all well and good, and we like to look at these big figures. But at the end of the day, it's about the guts of the issue, and those things are starting to look pretty good. So, again, GDP, low inflation, low unemployment, as long as those things continue to fall into line here, this is only going to be fuel to fire that thing even further.
You know, Scott, you were always the show-me guy. Well, now they're showing it to you. Good profit, strong growth.
And that's exactly right. And that's what I'm saying. I like what I'm seeing here.
OK, so you're finally happy.
He didn't say that.
I'm less disappointed. How's that sound? I can't go that far. But, yeah, it's good to see the growth. I love the GDP. I love to see those two things. You know, the unemployment rate and putting people back to work at the same time the economy is growing is really going to be a good thing going forward. And, yeah, taxes are only going to help. So I'm excited about it. Yeah, I'm more excited than I've been in a long time, Stuart. You can say that.
There you go. Oh, okay, I was waiting for that. Finally, we got there. Okay. Another John Lonski, if we get this tax deal, another leg up. Now, look, bearing in mind, we're at 24,300. Another leg up from here.
I think it's less than 3% to 25,000. That could happen by the end of the year. And Scott is right. We have a much improved trade-off between economic growth and inflation. We could have the unemployment rate drop down to 3 to 3.5% and still find that inflation's well contained. Let's not forget, we also have a low rate of manufacturing capacity utilization in the United States. And that can go up a couple of percentage points. That would imply a good deal more growth for the economy, and with it, of course, more jobs.
Okay, now, a lot of viewers ask me, would you put $1 or $10,000 into a Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin's had an extraordinary run, up again today, $10,561 per Bitcoin as we speak. So, Scott Shellady, over there in London, am I right when I say that Bitcoin is a speculative bubble and I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole?
Oh, my God, Stu, you just saved me there, right? I mean, with all the licenses that I have, I could not risk all the education that I put into getting them and tell folks to get into Bitcoin right now. It's 100% speculative right now. Most of the folks that are involved with it probably don't know anything about it, which is not a prerequisite, but that's something you have to be careful of. And look at a chart. If you want to get involved today on that chart, I've got a bridge to sell you here in London.
Now, that was a good answer, Scott. Thanks very much indeed. Same question to John. I say Bitcoin's a speculative bubble, and you say?
I think Bitcoin is going to be to money what subprime was to mortgages.
Oh, so if it get a crash, it could upset the whole financial system.
Well, not the whole financial system, but I think, no, I didn't mean in that sense. It's a speculative bubble, without any question.
Hold on, everybody. We just saw the Dow took a big, sudden drop. We were dead flat literally 90 seconds ago, and suddenly we're down 57 points. Now, we're working on this. We're trying to figure out what it was, what news development. You got anything?
It's the sausage making. Susan Collins is saying, so they're down to the wire right now. It's a sausage making. Here's what she wanted: Susan Collins, expanded child tax credit. She wants to keep the state and local tax deduction. She wants to have subsidies for the health insurance exchanges under Obamacare. And Corker and Flake are still on the fence.
You can't have that.
So they're down to the wire. What are they getting right now in order to get this thing out of that committee vote?
If her demands are so extensive as to keep the deduction for state local taxes, if that's what took this market down, I just don't see how.
And we know that Corker and Flake are worried about the deficit as well.
Oh, look, we are coming back a little bit. OK, we're down 30 points, but that's intriguing. Yes. Susan Collins wants a lot to get it into a yes vote.
To get her yes vote, yeah.
To her yes vote. I'll still put her in the undecided column, but essentially.
Thank you.
OK, we've just got more coming into us now. James Lankford, he's the Republican from Oklahoma, Senator Lankford. Yep. And now he was a waverer. I think he was concerned about the deficit. He is now a yes vote.
Yeah.
So you got, look, that's as you say, Liz, this is sausage making at the very last minute. One senator stands up and says, I want this. Another one says, OK, I've got it. I'm a yes vote.
The thing is, are they looking for backstops to stopping the deficit from growing?
Yeah, okay.
Do they want the triggers? What is it?
It's
what are they
sausage making, and I wonder how much point the market should take on it, because now we're down 67. Last word.
When looking at the deficit, everybody forgets about spending. Why not curtail, put limits on government spending?
Good luck getting that through.